Okay. So I think, are all of you new to this class? I know Anju is not new. Durga is also not new. What about Anuja, Anuradha, Rakhi? Are you all new to the class?
No, ma'am,
You all have
I am
attended
not.
before. Is anybody new to
Yeah.
this class, to the series, to unconditional group? Nobody is new. All of them are familiar. Okay, good, good. It's okay, no problem. We'll continue the class. So as we as you already know, in every season, we start off the same concepts again and again. But of course, with a newer understanding, with maybe a lot more refined understanding about the same concepts. Because as we start practicing the concepts every season, we may become better and better, isn't it? We also go to a higher consciousness. So the amount of information that we are able to grasp is obviously going to be better and better every single time. So hence, even though we think that we are studying the same concept, it's actually going to be very new. Okay, it's not like maths and science and other subjects. In fact, even that also, right? If a child continues to keep studying the same subject in greater detail, the kind of intuitive understanding that they'll have over the same subject, over the same concept, will actually continue to increase. So which is why many children who are practicing very hard, they tend to let's say score higher, or they tend to more than the outcome. I would say that their level of understanding is much greater than a person who's just studying for the exam. So the person who's studying for the exam might just attempt the exam, he might just come from his memory, but a person who has constantly been in touch with the subject is actually going to write from his intuition. It can be any subject. It comes from his intuition because he has put so much of discipline into it. So the universe actually pays him back with that kind of connection. That is what happens when we bring discipline, practice into anything. So thank you for attending this season once again. Although you have been attending in the past, you will definitely see a lot more value as you keep attending. Okay, so like we always do in the first class, we talk about our understanding in terms of who is God and who we are. Okay, so this time I decided I'm not going to go into too much of Vedantic level details because it is not necessary. It's not in our experience yet. Just because it is there, it is written in the texts, we may not be able to grasp that kind of concept yet. So, but what we need to know as of now in our level of understanding when we are in duality and all, that much I think we'll go in great detail. Um, because if I give too much of information at higher level, it is only going to feed the ego. And we will only think that, oh, I know a lot, oh, this is what it is. And then we are just applying, again, it's going to become like a cage. Okay. So this time I thought I'll just keep it very simple and go and then address in greater more detail about the practical aspects of acceptance and surrender more than, and then how we apply that with respect to God. Okay. So I think to even understand who is God, we are actually very small. But then from whatever we know, I think we are all aware that God is the one who created this whole world. Okay. He's the one who created this whole world. Created means literally bringing that into form and shape. And it is not just something that we can see, it is something that we cannot see also. There are so many things that we cannot see. Even those have been created by God Himself. So if and it everything came from that one single energy called God. And we if everything is coming from God, then what else is left to discuss? What else is, what do you say? There is nothing like a, this is God and this is rest of God. There is nothing like that. It is just God. And within that word God, everything comprises, everything comes into the God. So if you take a gold ornament, right? If you take one gold, a mass of gold, if you take that mass of gold, to some part of that gold you might put copper and make some items, to some part of that gold you might make silver and put some item, make some items. Maybe a part of gold is going to be left pure and maybe like a biscuit. A part of that gold is going to be processed into maybe necklaces, bangles, earrings, bracelets. So like that, God is like that mass of gold. And the property of that gold is not going to change. The value of that gold is not going to change just because it came into a necklace. The what do you say? The value of gold is not going to reduce. Of course, the cost of that item might reduce. In a earring might be comparatively lesser than a necklace. So the cost of that item might reduce depending on the value of that, the amount of gold that is in the necklace. Similarly, in everything that is made up of God, every single item, to the extent that God is expressing himself, maybe in some, the gold might be very less and the other metal might be more. So in that sense, what happens, or the purity of gold in this is, let's say, lesser than the purity of gold that is there in some other item. Okay, so like that, the value of that object is measured based on the amount of gold that is there in that. And at a market level, gold value is always going to be, let's say, same. I mean, that is anyway recognized at that level, at a higher level. So even when it comes to, for our understanding, so God is like that higher value and higher energy. And when that energy is in all of us. So in all these ornaments, there is gold. But then how much that energy is being used to express God, to express that gold out, so that actually differentiates. So for example, when you, let's say, take Hanuman may be, when he was just born, or when he did not know. Of course, when he was born, he was still expressing God a lot. But then when, let's say, at some point when he got a lot of curses, he forgot everything. And at that time, he was not expressing God a lot. He was just like a vanar. He was just like a monkey. He was playing with his friends. He was going around everywhere. All of that was happening. He was a part of Sugriva's army, like a, let's say, like a senapati or a commander in chief. He didn't have any special skills except for the fact that he was very strong. Physically, he was very strong. He was very intelligent. He had studied all the Vedas. All of that was anywhere there. All of that was physical effort that he had put in to grasp all of those things. But then his own special quality, which was the gold that was within him, was still not getting expressed out. So at that time, when the gold was still not used within that object, it was still, let's say, an ordinary metal. It was having, let's say, it was 100 rupees. But then when the same metal is used and maybe melted further down, and then now it is mixed with gold and then made a gold ornament, then the value of the same metal now, when it is mixed with gold or when it is expressing gold out, it becomes much more higher. Similarly, in this case also, Hanuman, when Jambavant actually reminded him about himself, his power, then he was able to remember, and then he was able to cross the oceans, and all of that happened. Similarly, in us also, everything is already there. The potential, the highest potential is already there. The God's expression is already there within us. But what we don't know today is that component, which is like that ignorance component is there. And the whole journey of human life is all about, it's like an adventure, the adventure of going from knowing nothing to becoming everything that you already are, which is an expression of God. We are not equal to God. We will never be equal to God. Once we merge into God, there is nothing called we, right? You don't exist anymore. So you can't talk about yourself anymore. So as long as you have this separate consciousness of I am a body, I am a jiva, and those kinds of things. When you have I am separate kind of concept in your head, then you're comparing yourself to God and all of that. Then you are saying I'm expressing God, all of these things. So since we are not yet in God consciousness like Krishna, we will talk about us as a separate person itself, which means a creation of God. A creation of God in which God flows through us. God is expressing through us. So, which means in everything there is God. If God is not expressing himself like a live element or like a prana, like a prana shakti, then we are like a dead body. So if his component flows through us, then we are a living body. If his component flows through us, then we are working. And his component is flowing in a thief also. He was also very much alive. And let's say in a saint also, he is very much alive. Or let's say in Hanuman also, he is very much alive. So what is the difference between his energy when it flows through a thief or when it flows through people like Hanuman or people like any other goddess or gods, or take any living person itself? If it flows through any one of these people, then what is the difference? The only thing is how much of God are they expressing and how much of the God are they not expressing? Which means whose decision is it? Of course, it's God's decision only. He decides in whom I'm going to express more of my potential, in whom I'm going to express less of my potential. When we say less of my potential, it is, let's say, God is expressing himself at the highest level. All the positive qualities he's expressing. But when he's not expressing a lot of positive qualities, what remains are those negative qualities again within him only. So when he's not expressing too much of himself, then he's automatically expressing that is something that is farther from himself. See, within me, I might have 4 pens. In that 4 pens, I might choose to always use only one pen because it has good writing power and it has nice smooth. It gives me a new smooth handwriting. The color of that blue is very good. So it's a preference. Why? Because when somebody reads that, it is very legible and it is very attractive or whatever it may be. I'm just giving a very crude example. So God is choosing to express something which is very highest. In fact, we can't even compare. What we should think is, if you see something good in somebody, it is an expression of God. In Bhagavad Gita, it is called Vibhuti of God. Vibhuti means those characteristics, the divine quality of God, the divine nature of God. So if you see somebody who is very beautiful, that's a divine nature of God that is expressed through that instrument. If you see somebody who's very generous, you should not say, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful, you're so generous." At that time, instead of becoming very proud about it, "Oh yeah, she told me I'm very beautiful, I'm very expressive, I'm this, I'm that." Instead of actually taking that quality, taking that feedback and appreciation and then becoming proud and feeding the ego, if we take that and switch our perspective to say, "Wow, she saw God within me. Saw these divine qualities within me. Oh my God, she must have divine expressions. She must have that divine eyes. She was able to recognize." So that was her quality, not our quality, right? Am I able to see that in them? Yet, no, I'm not able to see that in them. So which means what she's trying to tell is you are yet to reach, you are yet to, let's say, tap that potential of yours where you're able to see these divine qualities in somebody who's in front of you. So let's say God is in front of you, but how much of God are you able to see within them? So how are we able to see God within them? Only when we reduce our ego to that level. So God is now flowing in everybody to that extent. So if we are not able to see God, if we are not able to see God within ourselves, feel God, experience God, understand the energy that is flowing through us, it is because there is a lot of block within us. So like that, if we have to understand nature, God's nature, it will actually help us better and better. So now let's say you might ask, who is Vishnu, who is Ram, who is Sita, who is Hanuman, who are all the deities that we constantly do puja for. They are also, let's say, a subset of God's expressions. So let's say Durga might express certain qualities which Hanuman might not be expressing. So Durga might have certain unique qualities that God is expressing through this character called Durga, and God is expressing some unique qualities through the character called Hanuman. So when you look at all of these people, you should not think of them as human beings or or let's say somebody with a body or somebody with all of that. They are again energetic beings only. They are just energies. They exist. See, even we exist. But again, we are his energy condensed into some dense matter. We are just his own energy, which is vibrating so slowly that it has actually become like this solid. So if you take a fan, for example, if a fan is circulating at 5 speed or 6 speed or 7 speed, 8 speed, can you actually see the blade of the fan? You can't see the blade of the fan. So if anything is vibrating at such a high speed, you can't see them. You can't see that at all because it has to be very closely vibrating at your level or our level. If we are vibrating like this, if somebody is also vibrating like this, then only we can see. But if somebody is vibrating like this, let's say we can't see. For that matter, if my hand is still slow. But if it is faster than this, over a period of time, it vanishes. But it will still be doing this. Okay, but from our sight will not be able to catch it. So, like that, all these beings are expressing God and doing certain functionalities that God wants to function. So, let's say when God created this world, created this universe, he also created other souls, and these souls are again, let's say, a part. You can when I say God created other souls and all that, just think that other ornaments were made or something like that. Okay, just for example's sake, or other a part of God was taken and then somebody was made. A part of God was taken, somebody was made, something like that. But he's fully functional in all these people, but they are very unique. Their nature is unique, their expression is unique, their functionalities are unique. Everything is unique because it is nice to actually be different. So in all of us, there is a different personality. It is again God expressing himself through all of us. So when you take all of these deities also, they are nothing but functional faculties of God. Functional faculties of God expressing different natures. So for example, when you take our eyes, let's say this human body is like a vehicle. If you take our eyes, nose, mouth, everything, every part of ourselves, mind, there according to the Shastras, there are different devatas, or there are different energies which are governing all of these principles. So when we are in our highest mental, let's say, state, that we will be tapping Shivji's energy because he is the Abhimani Devata of the mind. So when we are in our highest potential of the eyes, then we are tapping the energy of Surya Bhagwan. So something like this, every single organ will have its low potential and its highest potential. So maybe at a very low level, there may be a corresponding negative entity that we might be, for example, if let's say your eyes can always see only some negative in somebody else, then that is where our consciousness is. We are still evolving in that level of consciousness because we still haven't reached a potential where that the let's say the impurities of the sense organs at the eye level has gone to that level where you're only able to see gratitude, where you're able to see good in somebody else. So every organ has its own speciality. Like that, we are if we have to function, all of these have to function well. And if all of these have to function well, imagine that is when we are actually doing well in terms of health or mental status and all of that. So everybody is working for God. It's not like anybody has some spare time and they are doing their own business. There is nothing like that because everybody is an expression of God and God is working through all the things in the cosmos ever present. So if this physical body has to function, all those devatas that are within us have to function to that extent. And there is a story which says, there is a, what do you say? I don't know if it's a, they say that there was a competition or something. I don't know if it's a joke or something, but then let's say there was a competition to say who was great, and all these gods were fighting. Then somebody said, "I am great, I am great, I am great." In Brahma, okay, in Brahma, all the devatas said, "I am great, I am great, I am great." So they all decided to say, "Okay, fine, we'll see." So if Brahma is still able to function, even if able to function when we are there or when we are not there, we'll see that. So uh, whoever makes a difference and he is fully functioning to his potential, then only that God is great. So like this, all the other functional faculties basically started coming out of Brahma. For example, the eyes, a devata came out and then he was not able to see. Then somebody came out, something they were not. Then in the end, what happened? So Brahma was still able to function, irrespective of his legs functioning or eyes functioning or nose functioning or this functioning, that functioning. Everything, he was still breathing, he was still alive. But then as soon as the Pran Shakti came out, that's when Brahma actually, let's say, died. So that is when they realized, oh my God, the Pran Shakti is the critical component. And they decided, oh no, no, we can't really believe this. Okay, let me go back and see if actually he functions well. So every single devata went into the body, but still he was still a dead body only. He was not able to function. Then again, Pran Shakti went in the end. That's when he was able to function again like a normal person. So what makes a difference is this Pran. And Pran, of course, is according to the history, it comes because of Hanumanji. But behind him, there is, let's say, God behind him. And he is again also a functional faculty of God. So either way, who functions behind everybody is God himself. So in that sense, we can just start from there. So now why should we uh, when we do prayers or when we do anything for God, why are we doing all of these things? Like I said, it's a treasure hunt game. So what is this treasure hunt game that we are playing? We are going from knowing nothing about the treasure that is within us, which is the God's power that is within us, the God himself that is within us. We are in search of God, that is who is within us. But as such, initially we don't know that he is within us. He is hidden within us, but we are constantly searching for him outside us, because there is a, let's say, all these sense organs and other things kind of distract us, right? We are seeing the through the eyes, we see so many different objects. It's like a distraction. We are seeing so many beautiful things around us, and then we go try to capture it, thinking it is God. It will give us God's presence within us, right? We go and try to enjoy so many things, and we are still doing it, right? In fact, as animals, only one sense organ was working. In the dog, the smell is very strong. Like that, every single animal has different capacities. But in a human being, all the five sense organs are absolutely active. But only one sense organ works to its maximum potential, which means only one sense organ is able to stay with the mind, or rather mind stays with only one sense organ at a time. It cannot be with two sense organs at a time. For example, let's say you're seeing something and your mind is there, right? Once your mind is there, your sense organ is there, then you are able to get information about that object. You are able to process about the information about that object. Now let's say your mind is somewhere else, but you are seeing that object. You will not get any information about that because the mind is thinking about something else. So the mind can be at only one place. So it cannot be in every place. So actually, when you say mind is in some other place, your physical eyes may be seeing this, but the mental eyes were actually seeing something else. It may be seeing some past trauma or something mentally. So there is an inner perception and an outer sight. So wherever the inner perception, outer sight, and the mind matches, that is where there is that alignment happening, and we are learning about it, and that is where God is present. We are getting awareness there, and we are able to we are able to get that information more and more. So which is what is called concentration, which is what is called alignment. And when they do meditation and all of that, typically we are trying to get everything in one place, aligned in one place. So even so when we do multitasking and all of that, actually multitasking is a quality where we are switching between tasks very quickly. But even then we are focusing on only one task at a time. We are not doing multiple tasks at a time. It is sort of casually called multitasking, but it is not multitasking. We are not doing two things at the time because mind can only focus on one thing at a time, right? So if we have to reach, or if we have to find God, we have to treasure hunt God, we have to find these clues. How do we find these clues in a treasure hunt game? That is what is there, right? There are clues left behind left in every single place, and then we have to take that clue and go to the next. In that clue, they'll say, "Where is God next?" Go there, go there, go there, go there. So we are constantly actually jumping from one place to the other place, one place to the other place, maybe one life to another life, one body to another body, going from one experience to another experience. Maybe in some, I was a dacoit. In something, I was a dog. In some other life, I was a dog. Then I became a dacoit. Then I maybe became a saint. And then I became something else. And then I became a wife. And then I became a. So, like this teacher, police inspector, so many different roles we are taking because the previous clue told something. And then we thought that if I do this, rather it was a misinterpretation, or let's say it was our own mind's interpretation of where God is. So we went on, did all that. Let's say I married somebody, thinking that I'm going to be experiencing God. And I'm still experiencing God. I'm trying to experience God. I'm trying to experience God. I'm trying to experience God. But I'm still not able to find God, which is why I have expectations of that God has to be like this. I'm thinking that if God is going to help me in the kitchen, then I'm going to be happy. Oh, but I didn't get any happiness. Yesterday they helped, but today again there is lack of happiness. Or maybe I should ask them again. So there is always a chase. We are chasing something because we are in this treasure hunt game, right? So we are constantly chasing for the next clue, next clue. In this moment, I'm finding some clue and I'm interpreting something and I'm jumping to something else. I'm jumping to something else. Let's say I married and then I had kids. I went to some job. I didn't like that job. I'm switching to some other job. and then I go and meet my friends, I go watch a movie. Every single experience that you have ever been constantly jumping from, you are actually trying to find that Sachidanand state, which is God Himself. And we are trying to see that outside us because all our sense organs are outward focusing. So let's say someday the search ends in the outside. Okay, you've done everything, you've searched everything, you've married, after so many lives, you've married like many times, you've had kids like many times, you've enjoyed all kinds of experiences. Next, what? There will be some form of satisfaction that will come inside and say, ah, this I've done, this I've done, I've done this, I've done this. Ah, it was not there, it was not there, it was not there, it was not there. You'll get that database, no? That database will sort of kind of say, ah, I've done this, I've done this. Okay, yeah, I didn't find it here, I didn't find. For example, take alcohol. Today you don't want to drink alcohol. Why? And you'll see some person drinking alcohol and you know, oh, oh, that's a very bad, that's a very bad habit. You should not drink alcohol. Why are we saying alcohol drinking is very bad and all of that? Because we have done it. We've done it thinking that there is God in that. And then we have chased that experience. And then that ignorance has led us, let's say, to some darkness. Because every chase will also contain a certain frequency that we are chasing, some experience, that frequency of experience that we are chasing. So what will happen finally? We'll, let's say, go through some health consequences, mental consequences, and then we'll be like, oh my God, this is not God. I really don't like these experiences. And then let's say you'll have some lives and you'll come out of that experience. Now you've done it, right? So you've tick marked that experience. Now you don't want to go back to that because you've done it. You finished that experience. So like that, someday when they say there's a lot of vairagya in this person, what does it mean? It means that, oh, they have actually experienced a lot of life already in, let's say, so many lives that they've led. And now they've sort of felt like, oh yeah, I think, no, this is not impressing me. That is not impressing me. For example, let's say, if I don't, all these fighting movies and these rowdy movies and all of that, it doesn't really interest me anymore. In the past, maybe I would have watched many times as a child, or maybe even in the past, I may have watched. But why now it doesn't? Because there is so much of, let's say, spiritual work happening that spiritual work has sort of masked that interest. So let's say the more spiritual work we do, the more it'll help us feel satisfied. That craving that we have for God, no, it will satisfy us to some extent. And what will happen is you'll not try to go and search for God in all these other places also. So that is where the search sort of leads you to. So in this journey, we are in the treasure hunt game. And you should realize, or people who have gone to that point have told us that, hey, God is within you only. And everything is within you. You don't have to actually go outward focused. But we've heard this so many times. But why that after every satsang we just go back to our own business, searching for the same God outside? We still do that, no? What does it actually mean? It means that we need to have an experiential learning in whatever we are going through. Just because somebody said, hey, God is within you, will we go search? No. We may not go search for God within us because it doesn't feel real to us yet. So we still have to go finish off that journey. But while we do keep doing that searching, we should always take the clues from the other people also who have already gone and finished the treasure hunt. So we'll take their clues, like how we, let's say, to write an examination, we have guidebooks. Guidebooks will have some, let's say, answers written in a very nice and crisp way, which maybe textbooks will be having in 4 or 5 pages. The guidebook will probably say it in one paragraph. So it is nice to read guidebooks also because it will sort of give your mind some structuring, and it will help your mind to think in a certain way. It will give you a different perspective and all of that. So in this journey, we are in whatever perspective, in whatever we do, think that we are actually we are in a journey to download God within us, download or experience God within us. So if you let's say pray to any deity, any God, and the how will you download that consciousness within you, or how will you, when I should not say use the word download, I'll just say how will you uh, um, tap, or how will you reveal that consciousness that is already within you? Only when you have a stable connection. For example, if you have to download something from the internet, you should have a very good broadband connection. If there is a very weak broadband connection, you won't be able to download a lot. It will be very sporadic, right? Similarly, if we are downloading a very heavy, high consciousness material into us, or if we have to tap a high consciousness material from within our own level, within us, we have to have that broadband connection which is stable, which is seamless. So in our entire journey, if we have to be led to God within us, we have to develop that quality of developing that stable connection. So the entire, everybody, let's say all the books, all the saints, all the religions, everybody is talking about only one thing. Nobody is saying God is not there. Nobody is saying my God is different, your God is different. They may probably express in a different way, but either way, everybody is actually telling what you are not and where you have to get to. Where you have to get to, more than where you have to get to. If you remove the what you are not, or rather where you have misunderstood yourself, what remains is what you are, which is God Himself. So we are basically learning to wash ourselves from all the ignorance that we have. So in Bhagavad Gita concept and all, it is called avidya. Vidya is knowledge. Knowledge is not math, science, social studies, that knowledge. Knowledge is the knowledge of God. Anything that talks about God, helps you to understand God, reveals God, gives you ways to find God, talk about God, all of that God thing, God knowledge is called Vidya. And anything that is not is actually called Avidya. So when we have a lot of that knowledge which is not leading us to God, which is not talking about God, which is basically totally opposite of that, then if we remove those things from within us, what remains is God Himself. Because He is the one, He's the raw material that we are all made up of. So why are we looking for God? Has anybody programmed us to look for God? No. It is just God's own journey to go and then go back to His own state. So how will you find that point? They say that if you reach, what is the find, when you're doing a treasure hunt, they'll say, okay, see, you are looking for this diamond. This is the diamond that you'll be looking for in this game, and you will be led through various clues through to this diamond. And that diamond is called ultimate bliss, where that bliss will not be dependent on anything. Today, let's say if you are eating some food that is your favorite food, you will be very happy. Tomorrow again, that food is not in your experience, and some food is not, you don't like that food, it's in your experience, and that happiness will not be there. So it is dependent on food. There is a dependent happiness with respect to children. There is a dependent happiness with respect to parents, in-laws, husband, office, colleagues, friends, let's say house, environment in the house, cleanliness in the house, hygiene in the house, hygiene of the bathroom, cleanliness of the bathroom, cleanliness of the kitchen. So many experience that we have, which are basically related. We are dependent on things to be in a certain way, then I am going to feel happy. So this is not true happiness. because it is constantly shifting. Today I was happy, tomorrow I'm not happy. Because that object that we are depending on for happiness is also constantly changing. It is like a moving goalpost. So we are sort of getting tired with respect to this moving goalpost. We are saying, hey, no, I wanted this permanent happiness. I want to be happy all the time. Why are we constantly trying to be happy all the time? Which is why we are like, let's say, take health, for example. I I am, let's say, having a cold. I'm not happy about this cold because it makes me feel uncomfortable. So what am I going to do? I'm going to do something or the other. I'm going to take steps. I'm going to go behind some steps. And I'm going to say, I want this cold to go away. Now, initially, let's say I'll go behind medicines and this and that and all of that, and then my cold will go. But I realized, hey, I took medicines, but I'm having some other side effect. So maybe this is not the thing. Then I'll go behind, let's say, diet, and then I'll go behind pranayama, something or the other. There is again, if you go behind anything, there is again temporary happiness, because again you'll realize that, hey, I did, it got better, but after 10 days, my cold came back again. Again, I'm uncomfortable. Or take for that matter, children. Today, they probably listened to you. Oh, very good kids, yeah, they are listening to me, very nice. But tomorrow, let's say they didn't listen and they did something that you didn't like. The happiness that was actually here now it has reduced a lot. So again, you'll be like, why can't why can't I actually be permanently happy with respect to my children? Why should I constantly keep going up and down, up and down, up and down? So this up and down business, we are sort of getting very tired, but we are still chasing that all. And slowly, when we are led to this knowledge of God's knowledge and satsang and all of that, we'll slowly start to realize that, hey, they are telling me that this happiness that I'm constantly searching, which is constantly shape shifting outside, is actually within me only. So you will be now, while you're searching for this treasure, you will be in a journey of experiencing that stable happiness. The happiness will start becoming stable as and when you start going closer and closer to the treasure. So every single person who gets closer and closer to the treasure is far more happy compared to the person who's farther from the treasure in the game. So which is why you can say some gods have gone closer to the treasure, which is why they are far more, let's say, we respect them, we do puja to them, we are invoking their consciousness more. But then are we thinking about Ravan? Are we thinking about, let's say, Hiranyakashipu? Are we thinking about many of the demons that were there in our books, in our history? No, we are not thinking about them, because we clearly know that our goal is not that. Our goal is, let's say, the ultimate consciousness or the ultimate. So our journey depends on how far we are in level of consciousness. So God, in our terms, is that level of expression that we are bringing out within us. And the closer and closer we get to that highest form of expression of God, we are in that highest state of bliss, which is not dependent on anything. And this happiness does not reduce or increase, it is always the same. It is in that highest state all the time. Imagine, irrespective of whatever, and this doesn't mean that you have become a saint or anything. It is a mindset, it is a shift in perspective. Today, if I am looking at my children for happiness, husband for happiness, this for happiness, that for happiness, if the same mind, like Hanuman, it was in every single place like a monkey, but if that same mind is able to stabilize itself, constantly train itself, practice itself, then in the same circumstances, it can actually be stable. And since it's, how did it achieve that stability? By following certain processes and disciplining itself through those processes. This human body, the mind and all is a creature of habit. Okay, you may have a lot of knowledge about everything, but without practicing that knowledge, we will never be able to say, or we will never be able to get our own experience of that knowledge, because we are unique. You may read a book, you may understand everything in the book, but unless you practice that, internalize that, and then make it your own experience, there is nothing unique about that knowledge that is yours. So in every form, in every knowledge, there is always something unique that is supposed to come out through you. And God wants you to go through that journey so that you can express Him through you differently. I can't, it's like if I am coming and parroting something that somebody else has told, then I'm just vomiting whatever I've learned, which means I've not practiced it. So I have to learn something. It is okay to learn something. It is like a guideline. Learning from something else or somebody else, it's like a guideline. But you have, once you understand that, you have to practice it. So here in this journey, practice is everything. And we all know that during our practice, we should not expect success at all. Practice means showing up, that's all. Practice leads you to something called consistency. Consistency means doing it over and over and over and over again every single day, or every single whatever frequency that you're doing. So when we talk about practice, practice is not practice may promise you so many benefits, but we are not looking at benefits. Benefits and other things depends on the expression of God that is coming out through you. Do we have control of what God is experiencing out through us? We have no control. So we should not look for benefits. So benefits are out of the scope of this class itself. Okay, we are not going to discuss benefits in this class. We are going to discuss process, habits, and constantly showing up for that practice day in and day out. That's it. That is a duty. So the duty minded nature should come more within us than a gratification mindset, entitlement mindset. See, today we have hot water in the bathroom, we have a good bed to sleep, and then we have good food to eat. And we think that it should be there in our life. Based on what are we saying that all of these things should be there in our life? What are we? What are we for us to basically expect all these things in our life? Something happened, somebody decided that I need to have all this in my life. So we have no clue what we've done, what we have done, let's say in our past life, for us to get all these things. So many of these things that are coming into our life, or what we have in our life, we don't know why it is there. And we don't know what will go, what will come also. But what is very clear to us is there is it's like we have to become more knowledge focused, practice focused, discipline focused. That's it. When you're constantly in this kind of mindset, the coming and going part will constantly happen. And you can experience it, move on, again back to business, which is practice, practice, practice. Because we have to continue this treasure hunt game, right? And the treasure hunt game will constantly keep showing us clues. We can't stay in one place and then get lost in the world. We have to move on in our life to find the treasure. And to find the treasure, the clue, the let's say the best practice that we have to follow is stay with the path, stay on the game, keep doing these processes. This is the process to keep going forward, and you need to have obviously discipline to keep sticking to this path. So that is the mantra that we have to follow. to find that godly state within us, we have to be disciplined. That's it. And that is the only thing that we need to be focused on. And here, outcomes are none of our business. We should not say, oh, I felt good today. Yeah, let's say I did some sharing of some maid, and then let's say if I talk about the children or something, that doesn't mean it is permanent. Today it is there, tomorrow it will go off. I can't put my happiness on that and then say that, oh yeah, great, now I'm going to rest in peace. It won't work because I have to go back to business. You know, if you don't, there is something called momentum. And in this journey, if you keep missing because of boredom, it is bore to keep sitting there and doing something. It is bore to keep practicing. It is hard. The discipline is very hard. All of that, if you keep saying, that momentum will be lost. What does momentum mean? Let's say I start my car for that big car which has not moved at all since the previous night. What should I do to move the car? To move the car, I have to take the car to my first gear. And according to the principles of let's say the gear system, the first gear has the highest amount of power. That power is necessary for me to move the car. So initially, when you do any form of sattvic activity or moving towards God, you need a lot of inner willpower to keep pushing yourself to go forward in that direction. And in first gear, you can't go in speed. You have to only move. You have to the intention of first gear is to just move the car from an inertia state or the stationary state to a moving state. That's all. And in our journey, if you keep stopping, again and again, you'll have to generate but that power to keep moving the car. So, but now let's say once you've already moved the car, you have to pick up speed. Since you're doing that every single day, it means that car is still in that moving position, but very slowly. But as you put now the car into second gear, it will pick up speed. So second gear is more of some form of, let's say, intuition, or the practice has now given you some amount of special extra points or something like that. You can call it intuition or awareness or something, something from inside has actually come up. Some part of you has opened up, some extra let's say like extra petrol or whatever you can call it. Some extra stuff has now come from within, and now you're able to actually go faster. But could I have gone this fast if I had the day I started? No, I couldn't have. But now I have some momentum. Like for example, the person who started season number 1, if they have come to season number 5 consistently by practicing the acceptance and surrender, how much they have seen progress in their life already. And you've seen all the sharings and all the things, they have actually seen progress. How did they see progress? Because they went from first gear to second gear to third gear to fourth gear. And if they are in their fifth gear, it means that they have already been going very fast. But the problem is let's say, the roads are like Indian roads. There are lots of road humps, cows will come in between, this will come, that will come, so many distractions. All of that are bound to happen. So what should we do? Even if we have slowed down the car at times, we still should not hesitate to start the car again from gear number 1. Let's say now there is a road hump. You'll have to switch from, even when you're in gear 5, full 60 kilometer speed. Even though you're braking, you still have to again put the car in second gear. At that time, if you think, I was in this level of speed, now again I have to start in second gear. It's so boring. What if I stop the car in middle of the road? Who is going to lose in this whole journey? Me only. So you have to keep going. It means that you should never hesitate to start the car wherever you are. It is best to keep going. Don't stop the car anytime. It is okay to be at least in first gear, but don't stop the car. It is we all have challenges in life. We all have different roadblocks in our life, and we don't know what kind of roadblocks and all come. But don't stop the car anytime, because when you have to stop the car, it needs a far more willpower. And let's say you stop the car for 1 day, 2 days, okay. You stop the car for 10 days, maybe it will take few more key attempts like this to start. But if you don't start the car for 1 month, the battery is dead. You need somebody external to actually come and recharge the battery. You will not have any charge in your system to go and then start that car anymore. So, which is why there are so many people who say, ma'am, I'm in such a low state in my life that I am not able to think clearly, also. I'm not able to do anything in my life. So, at that time, I have told them do some chanting and all that. Of course, we're going to cover that later, but I'm just saying that I'm just giving an analogy that if you don't start the car, if you don't practice, or rather, if you don't keep your car in moving position, it is very difficult to start the car again and again and again in future. And the more you go farther from that starting car, it's going to take so much more effort. It's going to take so much more resources from the universe. It's going to take so much more extra effort to go and get somebody and pay them whatever, and then be able to start the car again. And the petrol might have become rich, and so many other things, so many other problems are also part of this experience. So in this journey, remember, even though you don't practice like speed number 5, it is okay, but please keep the practice on. And if you keep going down at some point, don't complain, don't feel bad, don't get disappointed, start the car again. Or since you're already in motion, keep doing, keep going. At some point, you'll get enough speed, let's say, enough speed to be able to put the second gear. Then you'll be able to get enough speed to get third gear. So don't get disappointed, because we have road humps. It is designed with road humps. Okay. And despite road humps, if we have to go in fast speed, it means that we have to become race car drivers. Have you seen race car drivers? Not the one who go on the tracks. I'm talking about the one who go on these dirt roads. Have you seen them? And have you seen those Hummer kind of vehicles which goes ups and down, up and down, up and down? Even on the hills, they keep going. We have to become like that. We have to become mighty, powerful. Like our mind has to become like literally like Hummer or those Humvee kind of vehicles. It is literally huge. How did the mind? It's not the body that is huge. You should not, when you look at those vehicles, you should not think that the body is huge. If even lorry is huge, but can lorry go on like those vehicles? No, it is not about the body, it is about the mind, how strong it is. And of course, if we have to become that strong, we have to practice so much more. You cannot stop the practice. It is easy to fall into saying, I'm so bored, yeah, to go drive the car. I have to get ready. I have to get dressed. And then I have to go out of the car. I have to start the car, take it out from garage. It is actually a lot of steps to get to that state. But what if you are already in the car all the time and you are constantly moving? It is far more easy than this whole extra step of all this first few steps that has to be getting it back on the road will not need to happen again and again. Because the more you keep doing this first few steps again and again, and you're stopping the car, it will drink a lot of petrol. It will need a lot of energy, mental energy, everything. And if you keep doing this, the mileage of the car also will reduce. The shelf life of the car also will reduce. The life of the car also will reduce. So what does it mean? It means in our life also, if we are constantly stopping whole life in our life, let's say we are 100 years. In our 100 years, if we are constantly switching off, not practicing, our 100 years will get over without any progress. Ultimately, we are in the same point because the energy level or the consciousness is still the same. We are still stuck to the same fears. We are still stuck to the same experiences. Why didn't we go ahead in our life? Because we are not practicing enough. So a person who has reached the peak, the only difference between us and them is they have not stopped the journey. When you say consistency, the word consistency, which is associated with discipline, does not mean that they were in their peak performance all the time. No, consistency does not mean that they are doing the same thing all the time. No, consistency means they are showing up every single day. Showing up. Showing up can be for 5 minutes. Showing up can be for 10 minutes. Showing up can be for 1 hour also. If you show up every single day, 5 minutes can become 1 hour. But if you show every day, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, maybe that 5 minutes will be 5 minutes only. Because you want to continue in first gear only. You don't even want to go to second gear. Yeah, it is ready for you to go to second gear. But you may have your own blocks saying, oh yeah, second gear is slightly more speed. No, I might get scared. I may not be able to control that speed. So I'll not go fast only. Why? Who are these brakes? Who are these distractions that are going to come and say, our own life distractions, our own people, this, that, and all that, right? So we will think that they're all dependent on us. Nobody is dependent on, let's say, for example, we die today. Do you think their life will stop? Nobody will stop because they have their own soul plans. They have their own soul plan. They will continue with their life even with or without us. So we are absolutely, the cosmos runs with or without us. So if we think that the life will not run for anybody without us, we are the most foolish. And that is what, especially as even as ladies, we need to think, or parents, we need to think that life will go on without us also. While we are serving our people, we need to also focus more on our journey. Otherwise, we'll finish 100 years, but we have constantly been in first gear only. Or we have not started the car. We are not, our car is like constantly coming back with recharge battery, recharge battery, recharge battery. So it is up to us. This is where we have to think how much we want to go. So our destination, that I have to reach the diamond, should be very clear. If that goal only is not clear, then what are you searching for? We are all searching for something. Many people might say, my goal is not moksha. I am just living my life. But actually, they are also searching for happiness only, no? But they just don't know, that's all. So we have been internally programmed to go to the diamond. Whether you know it or no, we many of us don't even know that we are actually in the treasure hunt game. But at least now God has given us that time, that to think that, or rather to understand that we are in the treasure hunt game. Let's go with that mindset. Yeah, I'm in this treasure hunt game, and then I know that I'm searching. Sometimes I forget that I'm in that game, so I'm searching in all these wrong places. But yeah, I'm going to get back to that track. And to go to that track over and over and over again, it's like, imagine you are going on a tight rope. If you have to walk on a tight rope, how much of balancing act you'll have to do, no? Have you seen some girls walking on some rope from one corner to another corner? They'll be holding this rope like this, and then they'll be walking on the thread that is hanging in midair. Imagine how much of balancing they are doing. And if they have to stay on that rope until the end, all of that balancing that they'll have to do, and they'll have to still keep walking towards their destination. Like that only, even we have to do all this balancing act and keep walking towards our destination. And our destination in our mind has to be very clear, because if that is not very clear, no, we will get lost. There is no motivation to keep going. So, and we may or may not have the motivation, but then we are still searching for happiness, no? So at least let us keep going. So searching for God within us is a given. It's there is no other programming, but we have to just agree. We have to just believe it and just keep walking. And in this journey, you will have a lot more love for that diamond, to search that diamond, to know that diamond, what kind of diamond this is, Kohinoor diamond, this diamond, that diamond, whatever that nature of that diamond. Why am I going in behind that? Yeah, I've been programmed to go behind that, but why all of that? So this, um when you hear, so Vedas actually gives us the knowledge about this diamond called God. And Vedas are very complex. So to, like, at some point Vedas were not understood because the consciousness level dropped of many people. So after that, rishis wrote something called Upanishads were written, which is their own version of what the Vedas are, their own understanding of what the Vedas are. Over a period of time, people dropped even further in terms of consciousness. That also was not understood. Then these epics like Mahabharata, Ramayana, and let's say Bhagavatam, all of those things came. And then those are more like a drama version of what are there in the Vedas. And they embody the characteristics of God. They embody people who have enacted in that drama, have actually helped us understand what kind of life we have to lead. If this is the life we have to lead, then so there are a lot of subtle meanings in that. So the more and more, and today we are in a situation where Ramayana and Mahabharata are also not accessible to us. And people have done very creative things of doing TV serials. So at least if you're able to see TV serials to some extent, there are a lot of TV serials, right? Sony Live and so many other channels have a lot of TV serials. I'm sure other regional languages also have. At least if we are not at all there in terms of who is God, what is God, at least we can start with TV serials. They may not be the best representation of what are there in the Vedas because to some masala and all they would have added, but still, but at least the main point is definitely delivered in that. And then slowly, it will help us as we continue to keep walking that path. Their devotion and other things will actually improve a lot. For example, Vignaharta serial has a lot of connections with different stories. It is, it has thousands and thousands of episodes. It gives a lot of deeper insight. And the major takeaway from that is you'll start to love God. Many of these serials, you'll start to love the character of God. We may even think that that person who's enacted in that is actually God because he looks like that, and then we start loving that character. It is okay. It is okay to start somewhere. Like I said, first gear. It is okay to start there. Maybe in fifth gear, we'll actually realize the God within us. But at least it is okay to start somewhere with first gear. So anything that will connect you to God, no, just keep holding that rope and keep going, keep going. They say that our Bhagavad Gita teacher was telling that it's okay to have sattvic attachments. I have to do puja, I have to do puja, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to read this, I have to read that, I have to listen to this. So all of that is also a lot of attachment that we have, which is keeping our mind very occupied. It is okay. At least it is going to help us get rid of, let's say, watching a lot of Netflix. It is going to help us get rid of a lot of gossip. It is going to help us get rid of, let's say, reels. So many of these things, at least it got us to that point. No, it's okay. From a lot, let's say if I'm going to be bored and I'm going to constantly sleep the whole day, all of this, at least it helped us to go somewhere else, at least at least closer to God. So it's important that we keep walking towards God and not stop. So this is the major takeaway of this class. And if you have any doubts about God, or so in terms of our relationship with God, like I said, we, as of now, we still feel we are separate from God. the Advait Vedant and all of Vedant and all of that will tell us you are the soul and you are that, let's say, Sachidanand Swarup. You are the Aham Brahmasmi. You are the Param Brahma. All of that is there. Let's say they have experienced it. It is definitely something that we respect them, so we will believe it. But today, am I in that experiential state? No, even if I listen to that today in the satsang, I'm going to go back to my daily routine and I'm going to still find faults with everybody. We are in that state. I'm still going to be unhappy. I'm still going to be doing, I'm going to still keep searching for that diamond in the wrong places. I'm still doing that because the mind is trained to, Smita, you go and sit and do whatever, sit and listen to whatever knowledge, but I'm going to do my thing. Whatever you've made me practice, that only I'm going to keep doing. Mind is like an elephant. Whatever I've trained the mind to do, the mind will only keep doing that. I can make the elephant listen to satsang. I can make the elephant sit and listen to lectures, programs, this, that, whatever. But elephant will say, and it will dance to some music, this, that, everything it will do. But ultimately, tomorrow morning, it will go and do whatever tasks it was programmed to do. That is what the mind is. It needs programming, it needs practice, constant practice. That is why the Mahut, no, if the Mahut has to make the elephant every day, the elephant is, let's say, going on a straight road. Now, if there is a deviation on that road, now Mahut has to teach the elephant to go to the right side. So he has to go take the elephant will go on its own because it is trained to go to that point. After that, the Mahut has to give him some instructions and say, right, or something, or he has to do something with his stick. Let's say touch his right leg or something. And then the elephant will go to the right side. 10 days, if he's constantly doing that, then the elephant will know at that point, I have to go right. So like that, even we have to be programmed with some practices. Okay, so as of now, we have the knowledge about all that. Experientially, we have not been trained to get to that point. So we are training ourselves to get to that point. And for that, learning to be disciplined is very important. Today, we don't have that discipline. To be very honest, we are still learning to be disciplined. We have not become disciplined people also yet. Take any practice for that matter. Have you stuck with it consistently for a long time, years and years and years? If you have, then definitely take the learning from that and apply it to other areas of your life. It is very important. If that mastery has come in one area, no, you will be able to do that in other areas also. Because what we are learning from this life are those skills. Skill of consistency, skill of surrender, let's say applying surrender, skill of acceptance, skill of being very flexible, skill of being open-minded, skill of being truthful, skill of, let's say, being fearless. All of that we are learning. Rather, we are discovering within ourselves. What we are not going to take are not these knowledge and other things. We are not going to take this, but we have to train our monkey mind. Like this monkey can do many things. Monkeys have actually been trained to, let's say, in the past, monkeys used to be trained with police. Monkeys used to be with police. They used to go find if there is a pickpocketer there, go do this, go do that. They would have trained the monkey. You might see in many movies, monkeys are shown like that. I think in some movie, monkeys actually do a lot of tasks. So either way, what I'm trying to tell is training is so very important. And as of now, let's train the monkey to search for God consistently by doing sattvic activities and by refining our own personality by being authentic as much as possible. So if you have to, let's say, express God, if you have to even carry the diamond someday, you should have, let's say, an eyes that can withstand its shine. You should have the strength to, let's say, hold it in your arms. You should be able to stand there in its presence. How do we develop that quality? So the journey is actually helping us to develop that quality to withstand that God within us, to be able to consistently withstand that God within us. See, they say that a person who goes to samadhi is experiencing that stillness of the mind, but he still hasn't gone to that level of the Atma. Because once he comes out of samadhi, he's again back to the same samsara. Again back to searching. Sorry, may not be back to searching, but at least he's still getting irritated. He's still getting frustrated with the worldly stuff. Somebody come, let's say they are in the forest, they were meditating for like 16, 17 years, are fully always in samadhi. Now they come to the market. Now their true test will start. In the market, how are you going to behave? With your eyes, nose open. If they are getting irritated, frustrated, that's it. 16 years gone down the drain. So this is what samadhi is. So we have to get beyond that state. And how do we even get there? We don't know how to get there. Some treasures, some clues in the future is going to lead us there. But at least now, how do we have to live our life? We have to live our life majorly like a, let's say, a person who's taking instructions, a person who follows instructions, who is obedient. Implicit obedience. What is the meaning of implicit obedience? Implicit obedience means no questions asked. If life is giving you something, so in this journey, in this classes, we are going to learn how to become implicitly obedient towards life. Because if you become obedient only, no, you will basically keep walking, keep walking, keep walking. Otherwise, so many distractions can distract you. And let's say, stop the car, stop the car, stop the car. You will stop for some X, Y, and Z all the time. So distractions can be plenty, but you should still learn to say, I'm going to keep driving my car. If that kind of mindset has to come, if you have to keep going behind and your mind is constantly behind that diamond, then you have to learn to be disciplined. And the discipline comes only when you're obedient to rules. If you do your own rules, let's say if a child is doing her own rules and going to school, will the school tolerate it? No, they need to come in that uniform. The uniform has to be ironed and they have to tie their plaits and they have to come and they cannot, let's say, do this, do that, whatever. They cannot come with different color clothes. Why is implicit obedience taught right from a child? Even at home, we are asked to do implicit obedience. Today, there is a lot of hype about no, don't listen to anything, just go free in the world. In that also, if you have your own internal implicit obedience towards your own principles, that is a different thing. You are still going free in life, maybe without binding yourself in, let's say, worldly rules. That is okay. But we need to ensure that implicit obedience is coming to you in some form. You're learning that skill. If you are binding yourself in a certain discipline, irrespective of whether school is teaching us that discipline or you yourself you're teaching yourself that discipline in a homeschooling setup, either way it doesn't really matter. But what you have to really take away is, am I binding myself to constantly keep going and not stop? No breaks. The more break you give, that momentum is lost. So which is why in this journey we will learn to become implicitly obedient. And in the past seasons, I've called it being a servant, an ideal servant. An ideal servant. Hanuman was an ideal servant of God. Ideal servant. I mean, he went from knowing nothing to basically becoming the top, the one who actually guards pran shakti inside us. Right? The Vayu, all the pran Vayu is inside us. The pran Vayu is Hanuman himself. He's managing that entire thing. And God says, Hanuman, I mean, he has given him that promise. He says, Hanuman, whoever you approve, no, I'm going to give I'm going to give unconditional approval to that. Let's say if you promise something to somebody, I'm not even going to question you. I'm going to just give off. So which means, Hanuman, if you go away from some body, I will also go away from that body, which means there is no God, means that body is dead. That living consciousness is not there, that means that body is dead. So if God is walking away, Hanuman doesn't question, he doesn't have his own mind. He doesn't say, oh, that person was my friend, I loved her, I loved him. God, can you please come back? No, no. He is just walking out. That's it. Which means his ego. See, when you look at Hanuman, you can see these qualities. He was an obedient servant. No questions asked. He will not. When you take Sundarkand also, Ram Kaj, Ram Kaj, in Ram Kaj or in Rama's work, he did not stop at all. If you look at that story, he is not stopping anywhere in when he is going from this part to Lanka. No stopping at all. Even when somebody is asking him to stop for rest, stop for entertainment, stop for this, stop for that, stop for tamasic activities. No, he is just constantly going like that Hummer example that I spoke about. On the hill, it's also going, on the ditch, it's also going. If there is one river there, also it's crossing the river. Like that, he's going. How did that mind become so stable? Because it is seeing like this God. It is looking only at that diamond. Okay, wherever the diamond is going, where it's seeing the diamond, something came in its path, it's like this, a diamond, diamond, diamond. It's just so that is called, and which is why he becomes an implicit obedient servant. Whatever God says, he's actually doing that, no questions asked. That is one quality. And then if you look at, there are other things, like let's say they say that he has siddhis which Sita Mata gave to him, Anima, Garima, Lagima, and all of those siddhis, shape shifting siddhis, which means he becomes, he from a big person he becomes, let's say, a tiny person, and then he's able to widen himself. He's able to, let's say, go from one point to another point very very quickly, the speed of light, in the speed of wind he's able to go. Lots of such qualities are there. So what does it actually mean to us? It means that God is expressing, if God is only expressing himself as Hanuman. If let's say that gold itself if gold becomes XYZ, if gold is taken through some processes, it becomes, let's say, a beautiful necklace, or it becomes like this beautiful necklace, which is like unparalleled necklace. There is like no other necklace kind of thing. It means that even we can become like that, no? Because the same gold is within us. It has to just be taken through the same kind of processes. So it is not rocket science for us to become anybody. So when you look at Hanuman's life, we are basically learning to think like him, be like him, act like him. So what does this nature of shape shifting, all these siddhis that he has, all that, what it is trying to tell us is his ego is absolutely flexible. He doesn't have a rigid identity, because he has gone to a point where he has realized that I don't have to actually identify myself with anything, because God can be anything. So he has made his ego so absolutely, what do you say, negligible. His ego is only one, it's saying only one thing: identify yourself with following God. That's all. He is just following the diamond. That is his identity, a follower of the diamond. He has only one identity. Rest of the identities are basically dropped. He doesn't identify with those identities. But in our case, we have identified, let's say, ourselves with a wife. And with that wife, there come so many rigid rules that we only have bound ourselves into. And with you should not do like this as a husband, you should not do like this as a, I should not do like this, I should not be treated like this. All these are the rules that I am being binding myself within. So I put a small boundary around myself, and I'm saying you can cross this boundary only when you fulfill these requirements. So which means you can meet me with that identity. You can meet this person within me if you only adhere to these rules. If you don't adhere to these rules, you'll become my enemy. and then we start fighting them. So we have so many rigid identities like this. So this journey, this season, or these classes are basically when they teach us implicit obedience. It means that it is teaching us to be flexible. Through flexible, and we can become flexible only when we follow certain processes in our life, and we make God our destination. Or sorry, when we make God our only identity. See, we can play so many roles in that God is our only goal. How can we make God our only goal? Through many roles that we play is what we will learn in these classes. Because without identifying ourselves with God, we don't actually have an existence. We don't have a meaning in our life. Okay? So I'll stop the class here and we can do rest of the concepts in the next few classes. The way we will structure these is we will, let's say today we spoke about God and the understanding of what we will do in the season and all of that. We will also learn what is called unconditional acceptance, what is surrender, these and the processes around how to follow these things, because these are the foundation of everything that you can do in your life. If you have to become, if you have to go and reach that ultimate happiness, or even be happy in your life, general be happy in your life, you have to have this foundation in your life. This foundation is very important. Whatever you do in your life, studies, art, cooking, anything you do, these skills are foundational. And through some experience that I have, I'm just going to share some fundamental processes that if we keep doing that, we'll definitely we'll feel better and better and better in our life. Okay, we'll sort of keep walking in towards that goal. And after that, after few classes of this fundamentals, we will take question and answers. See, the more any class becomes far more richer and richer through different questions that you bring from your own life. Because if I am only telling from my own life or from my own experience, what is the fun? The whole the entire thing becomes far more richer, and we all can learn from some unique experiences that all of you bring in from through your own experiences, which is what is God making you do, and then where are you getting stuck, how can you apply the processes in your own life. Unless you bring those examples to the table, we will never learn something new that is happening, and how can we do in this example, how can we apply this in that example, how can we apply. If you have to learn, you have to apply that. If you have to apply the processes in your own life, in your own setups, in your own experiences, you have to understand how to do that. No, if you are not able to understand, you have to be able to discuss that, bring it to the table. And trust me, nobody is perfect. The only perfect person is God. Everybody else is not perfect. Hanuman is also not perfect. He may be the greatest hero that we all know, but he is also not perfect. But to us, he may look perfect. But God is the only perfect entity that we have in our, and of course, nobody can reach that state. If they've already reached that state, it means they no longer exist anymore. Okay, so it is okay to be imperfect. And one fact that I have to tell you here is, if we are all interacting karmically in this group, if you are interacting, there may be people who are in the group, but they may not even be seeing the messages. They may not even be coming to the recordings, seeing the recording, seeing live, nothing. Let's say if you're participating in these classes, interacting either with your sense organs, if you're interacting, it means that you and I are sharing many parts of the story. We have links with each other. Which means if you have some story, somebody else has already done it and they have experienced it and they have actually gone beyond it. Somebody has not gone beyond it. They have that problem. So unless you share a problem, you will not find a solution. Of course, solution is within you, but are we there? Have we gone to the level of speed in our sadhana to be able to find solutions from within us? Have you become that intuitive to be able to find the solutions within us? No, but we have to get there. To get to that intuitive level, to find solutions, to be able to apply those solutions, we can do that only when we are in that speed, constant speed. If we have to keep walking, then you'll get that. Automatically, you'll get that. But if that is not there today, bring it to the table. And here, if you are judging, if you think that somebody else is going to judge you, if you bring these questions, it is because the universe is trying to tell you that you have your own judgments and you can't tolerate. If somebody is bringing to you, no, it is because you have that within you. That is why they are showing you, hey, you have judgments. You're passing your own judgments. So in this journey, we will also understand who the other person is, who we are in relation to them and all that. Okay, in the next class. Any questions so far? You can unmute and ask. And I'm hoping to stop the class as much as possible early by 4 o'clock. Today I'm already 1 hour, 1 minute late. 1 minute over. Okay, no questions?
Smita, I just want to ask you something.
Yes, Roshni.
Roshni here. Yeah. So, what I understood is our goal is to just focus on God, where God is in anything and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we should have that implicit obedience and be consistent in our practice and have the willpower to experience this bliss in God, which is within us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Believe that it is within us.
It is within us. So we just have to practice more and more and purify ourselves, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is like sweeping.
Sweeping.
As of now,
That is-
practices. Why are we focusing only on sweeping? Practice and process and discipline is actually cleaning our antakaran.
Cleaning. Yeah. That's what I understood.
Cleaning us of that ignorance. Because who gets knowledge? Who deserves knowledge? Anybody who deserves knowledge is a person who has worked hard to receive that knowledge, right?
Yes.
Will a teacher entertain somebody who is coming to the class once in a way? And then does a teacher entertain somebody who's probably not getting marks, who's not studying at home, who's not doing homeworks? Why will the teacher sit with that person and give them more and more teachings? Who will the teacher support more? The teacher will support more if the person is constantly attending class. I mean, class means I'm talking about sadhana. Is consistently trying to do, at least trying to attend every day, and does how much ever possible in a day, given the other circumstances in their life. I am going to show up at least in the class every day. The teacher I'm talking about. So the student shows up in the class every day, at least whatever little homework is there, he'll go try to do at home. He couldn't do the homework, he'll come back to the teacher, he's going to ask some doubts. So the teacher will see that this person is sincere. The teacher doesn't expect perfection in students, otherwise why is the teacher needed? So God knows we are not perfect. He's not expecting us to be perfect also, because he's taking us to that perfection. He knows how imperfect we are. He knows our flaws. He knows how ignorant we are. What are the blocks we have? He knows everything. But what he's trying to tell is, if you put discipline on top of despite all these things, it will burn. The discipline is going to burn these ignorances that you already have. Which ignorance it will burn, this ignorance will burn, or that ignorance, doesn't matter. It will burn. So he's saying, you forget about everything, just become disciplined. And just be consistent with whatever your, let's say, experience is telling you. Let's say this for now, this satsang is in your experience. If this satsang is teaching you some things, go apply. You couldn't apply, come back and share your questions. And then something I'm going to share based on whatever I understand. Go back and practice that. Somewhere again you'll get stuck. Come back and share that. Go back and again. So this is what is going to refine your personality. And the more you go, keep doing this, go back and forth, you'll become very good at it. And this is what is called speed of that car. You're going from one gear to another gear, one gear to another gear, one gear to another gear. And imagine if you're able to clean this house at super speed rate. If you've already cleaned the house at super speed rate by consistently being like this, it means that you can actually attain moksha or the diamond in this life itself, irrespective of all the ignorance level you have. It is the discipline, it's the level of discipline that you're willing to do. And of course, I'll talk a lot about the ego and the nature of the ego and how to keep doing this and all that, and again in the next class. Remind me if I'm not.
I just have to share one thing. In doing meditation, jap, and all that, no, I'm being able to focus and be consistent. But one thing I'm not able to overcome is the laziness what I have in practicing for doing exercise for my body. That one thing, I'll do for some time. Again, it stops. So that is my weakness.
See, this is because you're expecting results. You have a result-oriented mind there. Because here nobody has promised you results. Jap is not, they're not saying, oh, 10 days you do jap, you'll get this. Some days you do this meditation, you'll get this. Has anybody promised you that? Nobody has promised. So there is absolutely no expectation of results. But here you're expecting results. Maybe you have, let's say, a paunch, a tummy. And then you're saying, okay, somebody has told on YouTube, this is for tummy reduction. These are the ab exercises. You did it for 10 days. Oh, I'm not even feeling any change in my body. I'm also getting this back pain after doing these ab exercises. So, which is why in the beginning of the class itself, I told there is in these classes, we will not even look at benefits. There are no discussions of benefits at all in this class. Because we are not supposed to look for benefits. We are only supposed to do cleaning. And cleaning only comes only through disciplining ourselves and keep walking on this path consistently. What happens when we are consistent? Who cares? Cleaning is happening, that's all. To what extent cleaning is happening, you will actually experience that in your world, but don't get stuck with that because there is so much more cleaning that has yet to be done. It's like if you see something good in your life, it is again a distraction. It'll slow you down if you get carried away with the good also in your life. No, it'll slow you down. So don't slow you. Nothing should slow you down. So don't look for benefits at all. If benefits are being given to you, enjoy that. Move on. Mind should be, I'm not here to enjoy. I'm just here to appreciate, pay my respects, say thankful, be thankful to God. Wow, great experience. Wow, on this journey, beautiful scenery. This, that we should go. That's it. Because that is also not permanent. If God is showing us something good today, tomorrow He is training us to also drop into some other challenge and then overcome that also. So we are not here to look for benefits. That is what we are learning from this. No outcome oriented focus, only duty focus, only job, only do. What happens after you do is none of our business. So hence, just show up. And even if you see results after 400 days, 500 days also, it's okay. 1 year is also okay. 20, I mean, results are going to come when it is due in divine timing. We don't know when that divine timing is going to match, because according to your karma, God knows how much you have to wait for that body to come and show you. I mean, that transformation of the body that you are expecting. We don't know how much of blockages we have within us. So since so many things are unknown in this whole equation, you can't expect benefits, you can't expect a result. So result will happen when the divine timing happens. Until then, the only thing that you are aware of is show up for that activity every single day. If we are busy, also it's okay. Let's say many people may have little children, many people may have older children, and then yeah, maybe they are able to focus more on sadhana and all that. But if people have little children, you have lots of, let's say, in-laws or ailing parents at home, you have to care for them every day. Try to be authentic in that journey itself and become duty minded in that journey itself. That's all. because there is task there also. Mind has to be in that looking for diamond there also. Mind has, see, diamond, we don't have to even look for diamond. In the mind, the diamond has to be there. I am going towards diamond, that's all. But every single happiness that you find on the way is not diamond. So don't get carried away with the diamond, because that diamond is not dependent on anything. You will know if you are getting carried away with some happiness and you think that is diamond, that is not diamond, because once that happiness, once that object stops giving you that happiness and you feel sad, it means that you were never actually, you never found the diamond in the first place. So non-dependent happiness is what we are looking for. It's like that state of bliss which will not go up or down. Until you find that, don't stop. Until then, just keep going like that horse, race horse. It just keeps running, no, in one direction. Like that only we have to keep running. In all the roles, you have to keep running like that. Okay? Yeah.
Thank you, Smita.
Thanks, Roshni. Any other questions? Okay, if no questions, we will wrap up. To the Supreme God, to my spiritual teacher, to all the spiritual teachers, holy masters, all the saints, holy angels, spiritual helpers, and all the great ones. Thank you for your divine blessings and your guidance. Thank you very much. Bye
Thank you,
bye. See
Smita.
you next Wednesday.
It
Thank
was
you,
very
Smita.
great. Thank you.
Thank you.